This is CAF Television. Welcome everybody. Alex Bastivansky joined in the studio, as is our tradition after a long weekend, by CAF President Phil Ionati. Welcome back.
Hey, always a good time.
A month and a
Good
half,
time
I guess, since
is-
we've had you in here. So
Yes.
it's time to catch up a little bit on everything. Big weekend that just happened, the BioSteel Canada Cup. Phil and I will talk about that later on. We're going to be joined by the man, the legend, Dwayne De Rosario, who Phil partnered to do the BioSteel Canada Cup. They're going to tell us all about the event. That's coming up later on. First, we're catching up on what's happened so far over the summer in the super groups, and how are you feeling about things so far?
You know what? It's been competitive, especially the first 2-3 teams, right? You usually always have that where the first 2-3 teams are very tight, and then a tad drop off. But you know what? You see once people get the form during middle season to end season, you get those games where Alex, they might find an upset. Where all of a sudden someone like Jingo was struggling a little bit at the beginning, but then turned around and brought CAQ right back. Right?
Unbelievable.
So unbelievable. They have phenomenal talent. Sometimes it just takes time for them to get going. But when Kevin DeSerpa is there, he's always passionate. He's always going to get the team ready, and those are the kind of things that we like to see. That you never know what's going to happen.
But Jenga riding high after going over to Spain, the tournament in Spain they played in against some of the top clubs from around the world for their age group,
Cup, yeah.
making it to the semifinals. So I think they came back against CAQ and they were riding high. After that, a bit more confidence there.
That's huge, exactly. Having the confidence going over to Europe, playing those games, that talent, and seeing where they stood is what it's all about. Kevin does a good job in bringing those kids there to have that experience. Comes back and the boys start believing themselves. Some really good talent in our super group. Obviously you have CAQ and One Touch battling out for the top
All
spots right
season
now.
long, back and forth.
So
Yep.
two really good teams that are top teams in Ontario, which is good to see that they have the that ability to go out and represent obviously the program.
Yeah, the under 20 group I know you wanted to touch on as well because Toronto Youth has just been lights out. They had a fantastic game against Mississauga United about a month ago. That was just back and forth all the way, but both teams doing very well, as to be expected from Mississauga United, but Toronto Youth, very impressive.
You got 3 teams there, Alex.
Yep.
You actually have Toronto Fusion as well. Of
course.
Inside there. So you got Toronto Youth, you got Mississauga United, Toronto Fusion, all bound for that top spot, and then throughout the whole season, these guys now have been watching each other, strategically seeing where they're going to finish off and represent again the program outside very well. Toronto Youth doing very well in the Ontario Cup, and you got Toronto Fusion that's gone over to Europe with a lot of their players to participate in some tournaments. That's key. So we're excited to see the final third of the season now. We're coming to the end and see who's going to finish on the top spot.
Yeah, speaking of heading over to Europe, something else that always warms Phil's heart is seeing players head over to Europe and to be part of academies. One such player, Milton United's Joey D'Agostino, who got picked up by Hercules, a professional club in Spain, and he'll be a part of their academy for the next year. He just left at the end of July. And as I mentioned, this is something you love to see.
You saw it with the Flores, right? So when you see someone like that, now have that success from going over to England, now someone in Spain, this is really the success stories that we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's key that we're able to get these talents and send them abroad and showcase what we have. I've seen players do very well, especially at the younger ages. We can compete around the world. Right. What happens is we drop off at the older ages. Why? Because we don't have a professional system here in our country, where everyone else has a first, second, third division. We don't have that, and until we're able to put that in place, we're gonna have to take our players outside, and hopefully over time, hopefully this new CPL is coming, the Canadian Premier League. Big talk is about that. This is what we need. We need to create a first, second, third. Players have that pathway, and all of a sudden you're going to see us doing very well and competing to get into that World Cup ongoing.
We may have to go into the next segment a little bit about this, but I know you wanted to touch on the Leica 3v3 Cup, which is the next big event coming up in CAF over the next month. It's going to be the long weekend, Labor Day weekend, actually, on the Monday. So Leica 3v3 Cup, this is, how many years are we talking now? 3, 4?
This is year 3, yeah.
3,
It's a fantastic project that was put together with Brett Mosen. Brett Mosen is one of the, ambassadors of the game in Ontario and Canada, and he was the technical director of Wolfville, probably one of the leaders of the game that that I was fortunate to spend time with. Put a staff together, unbelievable, and he has the rights to Quivers in Ontario, and you know what, he said, let's try and do this project together with Quivers and actually Disney. So the past couple of years, the team that won the event ended up going down to Disney and participated both in our event and then in Disney in January. So again, this coming year, the winners will participate in Disney in January. Our event is in September. Looking forward to it. It's going to be some really good competition, exciting times. in September.
And we've been showing some fantastic footage of the event that took place in Milton last year, which was an all-day event. The kids were loving it. We're going to come back in just a second and talk more about what's going on in CAF this year. More CAF TV coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to CAF TV. Alex Bastiavansky continue to be joined by CAF President Phil Ionati, and momentarily we will be joined by Dwayne De Rosario. But before we get there, one segment we're going to talk about the quickly approaching indoor season for CAF. I mean, I can't believe we're saying this already, how quickly it's approaching, but let's be honest here, school starts soon. Yeah, indoor. There's a lot of talk about indoor, a lot of excitement about this right now for many different reasons, which we are going to get to. But CAF indoor season, take it away about that.
Yeah, you know what? Last year we had 60, 70 teams participating in 4 different locations. Obviously, U8s all the way up to open age, right? So, that game, obviously, our country doesn't allow us to play, outdoor all year. So, the indoor game is important. There's different facilities that we were utilizing recently. We've done a good relationship partnership with Downsview Park. Our district, our association that we work with is North York Soccer Association, which was fantastic. They supported actually the recent tournament that was held in Downsview in the BioSteel Canada Cup. So, having those kind of relationships is really key on finding a place to ensure that we get the best competition, providing an environment for them to play the indoor game. And, we're going to go U8 and all the way up to open age again. How we're going to figure that out, we're working on those details right now, Alex, but check out the website. Everything will be there in the next 2 weeks where it'll indicate what's happening for the indoor game and our indoor season.
CAFsoccer.com, and of course you and Dwayne as well are huge boosters of the indoor game, because you mentioned you played this when you were growing up. And both you and Dwayne swear by it, the fact that this really, really helped both of your skills from a developmental point of view.
Yeah, that's actually the arena game. So, indoor soccer that, in the back in the day was, there was boards all the time, right? So, in the past, say, 15, 20 years, what you've seen is facilities being built where it's without boards, where it's a soccer center where these bubbles are up and, they're playing without boards. And it's trying to give that live feeling of an 11v11 game, right? Where the boarded game, which, I was fortunate to play in 1998 all the way to 2001, in a professional league called the NPSL, where we were getting 15, 20,000 people at some of the games. It was unbelievable. So growing up, not having those bubbles, not having the soccer center, we had to play against the boards, Alex. So it was very important for us to learn how to think quickly, move quickly, right? Because the ball never stops. And inside, the ball goes outside, the ref stops it, and it's a kick in or a throw in, right? So we're really excited about the arena game coming, and the whole program that's been put in place recently. We had the press conference you've seen, and
absolutely,
they've asked Dwayne and myself to be involved, and we're really excited about it because we truly believe that this game in the next 5-10 years will be something that you might see at the Olympics. Right, you might, there's a World Cup that's being hosted next year. So there's a lot of details coming with a big game coming in against Mexico October 1st. A lot of information, a lot of details. I'm sure, we'll be able to provide all the information.
Everything that I was just going to ask him, basically, he just ran away with it. But, okay, so yes, this man here is the general manager of the Canadian arena soccer team, the national team, who's going to be playing friendly against Mexico on October 1st. So my next question was, how is that progressing? The selection of players and the lead up to the event.
So I was honored to be asked to, to be GM of the game. Having a lot of players that I played with and against that are now, I guess, around, North America. The coach actually is Giuliano Oliviero, who was, a top player in Montreal, and then went to Cleveland, then went to Milwaukee, and he's actually the head coach of Milwaukee Wave right now, which is one of the top teams in the MESL, the Major Arena Soccer League, which is the professional league in North America. 15 teams in the U.S., 3 teams in Mexico. So the Canadian team, this is a little bit, close to home, soft in the heart, that we really want to go represent our country. We actually have the Combine coming up this coming month, at the end of the month, I think it is the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of October 24th, 5th, and 6th, where it'll be open tryouts for the first 2 days, and on the Saturday, the 26th, will be invitation one, where we'll be able to get the players that we've known and seen over the past little while and obviously the MASL players that are out there that will be invited to join us as well.
Right, some of the players have been chosen already. We saw them at the launch, is that correct?
Some players
The press
obviously
conference?
played in the MASL, have that professional experience. Those are the players that we're leaning towards. A Josh Lemos, right? A Dan Shamale, Freddie Mujan. These guys have been in the game for many years and have that kind of experience. This game is all about positioning, understanding the patterns. It's not just going out and playing. It's a lot more strategic to that point there. So we really need to get our players together, teach them the game, develop the game, because this game, I promise you, will grow. It's obviously they're going to launch a youth system coming up in the YAPL, playing out of Canland, right? So there's a lot of things happening in the APL, the Arena Premier League, which we talked about. So there's a lot of things happening in the near future where you can check everything out on the website. And any questions, we're always here to answer.
Yeah, the best place to go, casasoccer.ca, to find out more about all the amazing things that are launching with Arena Soccer over the next few months. We will be back with Dwayne De Rosario, more CAF Television, coming up in just a moment.
Don't expect this to be easy. You guys go out there and play your game. Move the ball, move the bodies, right?
Welcome back to CAF TV. Alex Vashavansky, and as promised, joined by, well, Phil's a regular guest, but this one here is a little bit special. Sorry, Phil, but I mean, it's Mr. Dwayne De Rosario. Good to see you, buddy.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, excellent to have you. And coming off a really big weekend, actually, as mentioned, Phil and Dwayne had organized the BioSteel Canada Cup. And yes, we do have our little bit of BioSteel right here, just to get that in there. And that was a fantastic event. We've got a lot to talk about with this event. We're going to be showing lots of footage of it, but maybe just start off with why the BioSteel Canada Cup. What was it all about, guys?
It's all about growing the game and creating a platform for kids to experience a competitive environment, as well as we had the Under 13 Festival, a fun atmosphere, but an environment where the kids can go to, a destination where families can go to, and it's all soccer. It's we had great support in terms of in our fan zone. We had a food truck. We had Fitz a training program come out and do an obstacle course for the kids so they can test their speed and agility. So we just want to really create an environment and a platform where kids could learn more about the game, go to the tournaments, as me and Phil has played in many great tournaments across North America, particularly in the States. And when you go there and it's an event, it's a spectacle. And that's something we want to create here. And I think for our first year, we're very pleased at the results so far.
Well, I was going to say, so of course, Phil and Dwayne played together as teenagers on a couple of teams. Dwayne was a couple of years younger, but had accelerated his game and was playing.
Thanks for making that clear.
Phil's going to kill me after the show, after a couple of comments I've made here. But yeah, you guys played together, and one of the big tournaments you guys played, and you always mentioned, was the Dallas Cup in the States. And this is something, and you mentioned a few tournaments in the States actually you guys had played, but the Dallas Cup is one that really stuck out in your mind. What was it about the Dallas Cup that you guys liked so much and wanted to model this after?
It's just not the Dallas. Dallas Cup was the experience that we had when we were younger, but Dwayne and I just came back from Dubai, and that term was unbelievable. High level, like Dwayne mentioned, it's the little small things, the details that give the kids that excitement, that experience. And this being our first year at the BioSteel Canada Cup, every year we just get bigger and better. In the Dallas Cup, you're playing against top quality teams, in Dubai quality teams. This now is what we talked about on the weekend was. This BioSteel Canada Cup is something for Toronto. We have to showcase our talent, showcase our country, because there's a beautiful country and we have a lot of talent. So in the next 5 years, there's no doubt in our minds that this will be one of the biggest tournaments in August to go to and attend and give kids, parents, that experience of a lifetime.
And you talk about the talent that was there. You guys were front and center watching on Monday the finals for the under 16 and under 13 teams. You awarded the MVP, but you guys watched those games from start to finish. Just tell us about that, because there were two great games, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, as Phil mentioned, we have some very talented players here in Toronto, and obviously to be at Kia Training Ground down in Downsview creates another environment where some of the coaches from TFC, I seen one or two floating around there, can see the young talent, to see how the talent is developing. Who knows, maybe tap into some of those kids that they don't get to see. And again, it's BioSteel Canada Cup is a destination. We want to create it's a destination, a place to go to, and I think we're very pleased at the turnout. We're very pleased at the clubs that participate, and with the talent pool that we've seen this weekend, we had some nice potential coming through the pipelines.
Yeah, Phil, the excitement was there, wasn't it? From the parents. I think the parents were just as thrilled as the kids were there, and everyone getting to meet Dwayne and have the whole experience, as you mentioned, the fan zone and everything, but you could see how much fun the kids were having and how excited they were.
It was, it was unbelievable to see, and some of the players, Dwayne and I are walking around, and you saw this little small player play, and he's just dribbling, dangling people, and his confidence, his swagger, and we're just, look at that, he'll catch you in the eye, right? And one of the most emotional parts was when, walking around and all the kids come and run around Dwayne. This is an icon for our country, someone who is a mentor to many people, Alex. Very fortunate to be around, and he took the time, and you can see the things that just embracing people. It's bringing people together. And this game brings people together, and it brought players, it brought parents, it brought coaches, it brought referees, it brought everyone together. And how do we excel that? So it's not just about the game; it's more about life and different things. And these experiences that we're excited to see.
As we go to break, we're going to show some footage of you. Were a busy man. You weren't just sitting in the fan zone. You was going around, hopping around from field to field, picking the D-Row 11, which was the top 11 players from each age group. As we've been seeing lots of footage of you doing that actually, but you were taking notes scrupulously and getting all the players. And as we throw to break, we're going to take a look at some of the award winners right now. More CAF TV coming up in just a second.
This is your best 11 for the BioSteel Canada Cup.
Welcome back to CAF TV. Alex Bastianski here in the studio. Continue to be joined by Dwayne De Rosario and CAF President Phil Eye. Now, you like how Dwayne doesn't even need an introduction as to what he does anymore. Although you are, what are you doing now anyway? Besides, obviously, national team, TFC, MLS star, that's all done with now. D-Row Academy is now your pride and joy, isn't it?
Definitely,
Yeah.
and again, just working with the kids, something I'm passionate about, and D-Row Academy is continually growing, and I'm very happy where it's at right now. They're all the teams participated in the BioSteel Cup over the weekend, and they all had a good time. So the feedback's been very positive.
And we're going to get to D-Row Academy more in just a little bit. But I wanted to ask you first, the D-Row 11, for those age groups, what exactly was it, and what was the criteria for that for you?
Yeah, well, me and Phil's always been going back and forth and trying to figure out creative ways to make it as special as possible, to make these kids really feel that they're a part of something special. And having played in MLS, and when you watch Europe, you have your best FIFA best 11, you have this best 11, and we want to leave a memory with the kids. And it's not necessarily the kids who come first and second who always get the medals and always get the recognition. There's a lot of kids also that are playing in the tournament, one or two good players within other teams that maybe don't get to the finals that still deserves credit.
Right. And you guys saw a lot from the two MVPs that you voted, the under-13 group and the under-16 group. Just talk about that for a second, because they both had a huge impact, obviously.
Yeah, from I guess the younger under-13 division, there's one player, number 37, stood out. The way he moved off the ball, the way he spun, the way he took leadership, the way he closed in space. You know, I think he scored a goal in the game in the finals as well. And
football
you
IQ.
know, just very intelligent things that he did, and you know, turned into being the MVP of the game. You know, when everyone thought that team didn't have a chance to win, he carried the team a little bit onto his shoulders and won that game for them. You know, in the under 16 group, the number 7 for Bruce Academy was just
Tremendous player.
unbelievable speed down that wing, cutting in, always dangerous, and that's important. Having that player who can actually change a game on a dime and puts fear in the defender.
Kind of like a young Davies.
Yes.
You know, the willingness to take players on and be creative. And you know, we look at all different types of players when we look at the best 11. You know, every player has their strengths, and we look at we take all that stuff into consideration. It's not always a flashy player, but sometimes it's the number 4 as well, the big defender for the red team, who always got stuck in every challenge and committed himself to the ball.
100%.
And his
Scored that
willingness
gorgeous
for
free
his
kick
team. Yeah, just
well,
playing
yeah.
with that kind of heart and that passion to compete. So.
Question I was going to ask you then is the development in this country. From what you've seen, to gentlemen who've obviously played at the highest level, do you like what you guys are seeing? Do you like where things are going? Of course, Dwayne played in 2000 on the team that basically has won the biggest trophy that Canada has ever won in the men's level, which was the Gold Cup championship, aside from qualifying for the World Cup, of course, in '86. But as a championship, the Gold Cup was it. You were on that team.
Yeah.
Do you like what you see from the direction we're going in and that our men's team is taking now with a younger generation of players?
I mean, that's a loaded question, but I think grassroots-wise, there is some concern. There is, I do and I don't like the way some things are going. I think we have to find a more environment as an inner city kid growing up in a single-parent home. We have to find out more environments where these kids can be tapped and seen, because I think it's more going towards the kids who can pay and the kids instead of the kids who can play. So if we can find a way to bridge that gap, and if we can find ways to come together as a football community for the betterment of the sport in this country, as an association, as a national association, I think that's imperative that we find a way to come together. There's too much separation, there's too much leagues, there's too much division, and we need to bring football community together for the better.
And you're finding cost-wise, you think it's getting away from us a little bit as well?
I think so. I think a lot of people who are building academies and they're seeing more of the dollars instead of the production. You know, it's great that when you look at the end and see, you have to balance it, yes. But when you know, I feel better to know that I have players moving on from my program to go to TFC, to go to the next level.
Right.
For me, that's success.
Right. And we've got 33 seconds, so not a lot of time to talk about D-Row. But D-Row Academy is drowunited.com. This is the academy that's in Dwayne's vision, and they're doing a great job of developing young players, so people can go to the website and find out more about that. It was a great weekend, guys, and a great event, and we're going to have you on again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming
I just
on.
want to tell people to also look out for the D-Row Foundation as well. After-school programs that we do in inner city communities for kids, and creating platforms where kids can't afford to play have the same opportunities that every other kid has.
And drowunited.com, of course, they can find out more about that as well. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here.
Always a pleasure.
And for you out there, of course, CAFsoccer.com, along with all the usual social media outlets, are there for you to check out. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for more CAF TV.
Parents for taking time out to come out on this long weekend to enjoy the first annual BioSteel.